Good Friday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to what's making news, let's take a quick look outside that weather window and the day after. Record-setting snowfall yesterday. This looking at the Wenatchee Valley, and boy, a blanket of white all over the valley. We had some freezing rain this morning. That made for some very slippery conditions. And then the sun came out and the wind came up. And our temperatures went up as well, and that cleared some of the roadways around town. But here we go. The graphic I showed you yesterday by the Weather Service wasn't correct, but this one is. Yesterday, our all-time snowiest 24-hour period, we picked up 23.3 inches in Wenatchee. The previous record, as I mentioned last night, was in 1971 at 16.5 inches. And this data comes from the Wenatchee Water Treatment Center. Of course, the official reading comes from Pangbourne Airport in East Wenatchee. So yes, yesterday, a record setter. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Just as Wednesday's historic snowstorm was descending on the region, firefighters in Soap Lake responded to a structure fire that destroyed a mobile home. A former maintenance worker for Chelan Fruit is accused of using that company's credit cards to buy himself $8,000 worth of home fixtures and lawn furnishings. And Chelan County Sheriff's deputies and other police agencies are seeking two people suspected in the theft of a pickup truck and snowmobile on Christmas Eve. But first, our top story tonight. The record snowstorm isolated many people in their homes and left heavy snow loads on their roofs. In the town of Leavenworth, Mayor Carl Floria today declared a disaster within the city limits, saying the city might request aid from the National Guard to help clear snow and check on residents unable to leave their homes. The declaration also allows the city to issue no-bid contracts for work that's needed to clear streets and sidewalks that still remain impassable as of today. Over the last 2 days, Leavenworth has received 36 inches and even up to 48 inches of snow in some areas. Well, just as Wednesday's historic snowstorm was descending on the region, firefighters in Soap Lake responded to a structure fire that destroyed a mobile home. Grant County Fire District 7 said the fire was reported about 5:30 p.m. and Fire Chief Grant Shepard arrived to find the mobile home fully engulfed. Numerous engines, including two from a freighter, were used to battle the blaze at 630 2nd Avenue Northeast for more than 2 hours and were able to stop it from spreading to nearby properties. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. A former maintenance worker for Chelan Fruit is accused of using that company's credit cards to buy himself $8,000 worth of home fixtures and lawn furnishings. Prosecutors charged William Henry Pruder on January 5th with 14 criminal counts, including second-degree theft, identity theft, and burglary. The 43-year-old Pruder allegedly stole credit cards from the Chelan Fruit office last May and used them to make $6,000 in purchases from the Chelan Walmart, including electronics and a backyard gazebo. He's also accused of misusing company cards earlier last year to the tune of about $2,000. Chelan Fruit fired Pruder after the alleged thefts. He's not been arrested, but is sought on a warrant from the Chelan County Sheriff's Office. Speaking of the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, Chelan County Sheriff's deputies and other police agencies are seeking two people suspected in the theft of a pickup truck and snowmobile on Christmas Eve. Authorities say the vehicles were reported missing from a home on West Street in Leavenworth about 10:15 p.m. and found abandoned 2 days later near Easton, about 65 miles away. The Kittitas County Sheriff's Office says these two people were seen riding the stolen snowmobile in that area on Christmas Day. Any information on the two suspects can be phoned in to the Chelan County office at 663-9911. Coming up next, the number of new COVID-19 cases more than doubled in Chelan and Douglas counties this week. We'll bring you the latest COVID briefing from the State Department of Health. Thursday's harsh weather led to a power outage in the Coles Corner and Lake Wenatchee areas early this morning. And a Wenatchee Valley Mall storefront will soon be empty. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Dr. Wayne Latimer's Chiropractic and Integrative Multicare specializes in all level of injury care. If you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, have a sports injury, or a simple fall, call today for a free consultation. They offer a combined multi-care approach with medical, chiropractic, physical therapy, massage, and acupuncture. For relief from long-standing injuries to basic solutions for the weekend warrior, Latimer's Chiropractic Integrative Multicare is one stop, one location.
When it comes to finding a memory care community, you want the very best. You want to know that your loved one is safe and receiving compassionate care in a loving environment. Fieldstone Memory Care is an innovative assisted living community designed for those with Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's disease. You'll find a community specifically designed to enrich residents' lives. The Fieldstone team is here to help you navigate the important decisions you face when a loved one has dementia or Alzheimer's. Welcome home to Fieldstone.
Welcome back. In another news, the number of new COVID-19 cases more than doubled in Chelan and Douglas counties this week. The Chelan-Douglas Health District reported yesterday that the new case rate was at 784 per 100,000 residents over the past 2 weeks. That's up from 320 new cases per 100,000 residents reported last week. The Omicron variant of COVID is being blamed for most of the dramatic jump in new cases locally. Prior to the arrival of that variant, new cases had been on a steady decline in Chelan and Douglas counties. As recently as December 20th, the rate for the two counties had dipped to 214 new cases per 100,000 residents over the previous 2 weeks. Washington's chief science officer for the Department of Health says COVID-19 cases have risen dramatically in recent weeks, as we just mentioned, and the blame goes to the Omicron variant. Health officials continue to urge vaccination, masking, and social distancing as key tools to help stop the pandemic.
Our genomic sequencing data indicate that probably more than 80% of recent infections are likely due to the Omicron variant. And so while Omicron has been able to evade immunity from vaccination better than Delta, vaccination is still so important. So as you can see in this graph, vaccinated populations shown in the green and yellow lines have seen a steep rise in cases, but rates in unvaccinated populations shown in the red line has been 3 times higher. So while vaccination is somewhat less effective against Omicron than it was against Delta, it is still so important because it greatly decreases your chance of infection. Fortunately, we have not seen a rise in deaths, although it's important to keep in mind that changes in death rates can follow changes in case count, sometimes by more than a month. So this is something that we'll be following closely over the next several weeks. And again, vaccination is the best way to protect against death from COVID-19. So as this slide illustrates, rates of death in those 65 years and older are 15 times higher than in the unvaccinated population than in those who are vaccinated. We are seeing a steep rise in hospitalizations in recent weeks. And we are hearing from many hospitals, especially those in Western Washington, that their capacity is becoming critically strained from a variety of factors, including staffing shortages exacerbated by Omicron infections and the need for isolation and quarantine.
Yesterday's harsh weather led to a power outage in the Coles Corner and Lake Wenatchee areas early this morning. The Grant County PUD said it's seen very few outages during the winter emergency, but more are possible with continuing snow, rain, and changing temperatures. To be ready when the lights go out, they advise taking a few steps. Charge all cell phones, reusable batteries, laptops, and other devices. Gather extra water, non-perishable food, flashlights, and other emergency supplies. Prepare an alternative plan for power-dependent medical devices and medications that require refrigeration. Local utilities reiterate, if you see a power line that's fallen to the ground, do not go near it. Call 911 instead. In other news, the Wenatchee Valley Mall storefront will soon be empty. Yesterday, Bed Bath & Beyond, the houseware retail chain, released a list of 37 stores slated for closure, including the East Wenatchee location. Stores in Seattle, Longview, and Union Gap will also be shuttered. The New Jersey-based company says the closures are part of a corporate streamlining, which will ultimately include 200 stores nationwide. The precise shutdown date for the East Wenatchee store isn't known, but most of the stores on the list will close by the end of February. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
Hello, my name is Brian Brett, the Fire Chief for Chelan County Fire District 1, and I just wanted to talk about how amazing our Rivercom team is. They are intentional, purposeful, and skillful in everything they do, and they are the best at what they do. How they prepare, how they handle the caller, how they coordinate the emergency services, and how they push themselves to be the best. This is the kind of spirit that our Rivercom telecommunicators have. Our community needs you, we need you, we admire you, you're our lifeline.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Each week, NCWLIFE's Rachel Mandelis introduces us to a new pet available for adoption at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. This week, we are reintroduced to Yukon.
This week on Pause for Pets, Jenny from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society introduces us to Yukon, a young lab mix looking for an adventure partner.
This is Yukon here. He will be 2 in March, so he's still a young guy learning all that he needs to learn. He seems to be pretty smart and has picked up quickly to, to leash routines here at the shelter, door routines. He knows sit. He's super treat motivated, so he'd be pretty easy to continue working with. Come here, hey, sit, good boy. He's kind of looking for that home that somebody wants to actually probably adventure with and like give him exercise, because he is a pretty energetic guy, but energetic in a good way. Like he can definitely go the distance and be somebody's buddy. He needs a little bit more leash work. But like I said, he is treat motivated and super willing to learn. He's just waiting for that home that's going to give him some attention and, come here, bud, and guidance to, hey, come on. Sit. Attention and guidance to be a good dog. Hey, come on. Sit. Come on. He does have to be in a home with no cats, though, because cats are... He's a little too excited to be in a home with cats, so he does need that cat-free home. But Yukon is ready. Whoops, come here, buddy. Come on, sit. Yukon's ready to go today. like ready as can be, huh? Oh my gosh, you're a handful. You are a handful, but we love you, huh?
If you're interested in meeting and adopting Yukon, the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and closed 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. for quiet hour. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org.
Let's take a look now at your North Central Washington weather forecast. Hope you had a great Friday. It's the weekend, and I think you're going to like the forecast as we get into the weekend. Today, not a bad day either after the sun came out. Of course, the winds came up this afternoon as well. This is the shot looking at downtown Wenatchee from our Cascadian Sky-Fi Tower camera. And boy, lots of snow around the area. As we showed you, 23.3 inches of snow over a 24-hour period here in the Wenatchee area. And look at that, 32 degrees today. That's the first time in 12 days that we have seen a high temperature of 30 or above. So it felt pretty good today. 32 is our normal high, 54 our record high, and that was set back in 1983. 19 our low this morning, and that's about where we should be for this time of year at 23. 10 below our record low set in 1993. Just a trace of precipitation, some of that freezing rain. Precipitation 1.18 for the year, and yeah, those 42.8 inches of snow now so far for the season. Our sunrise 7:47 this morning and set getting a little bit later now this afternoon at 4:28. All right, Saturday, it's the weekend. Tomorrow looks pretty good. Be a great day to go snowmobiling, sledding, maybe head up to Mission Ridge, do a little skiing. Temperatures not bad. Freezing mark for Moses Lake and Ephrata. 33 in Quincy and Wenatchee, 31 down in Ellensburg, about 31 as well in Leavenworth, and 31 too at Lake Chelan. So not a bad day tomorrow. We are going to see some partly cloudy skies. Partly cloudy tonight too. We'll see those breezy conditions continue. That pink and purple right here in the Cascades, that'll bleed over into our area and bring us those breezy conditions. Lows in the lower 20s tonight. As we get you into Saturday, high pressure right here in the Great Basin area. That'll keep our skies a little bit clearer, and we will see dry weather as we move into the upcoming weekend. Highs for your Saturday, as we just showed you, in the lower 30s. And then for Sunday, as we finish our weekend, high pressure will slide just a little bit to the southeast. Seasonal temperatures and partly cloudy skies for Sunday, though, with high temperatures in the low 30s. For Monday, cloudy skies. Here's our next weather maker out in the Pacific. It'll kind of move our high pressure just a little bit to the east, and that may allow a few showers to move in. So we'll keep about a 40% chance of snow on Tuesday, or on Monday rather. For Tuesday, mostly cloudy skies, a 30% chance of maybe some rain and snow with temperatures in the mid 30s. And folks, southwesterly flow of air. We are warming up by midweek next week. Mostly cloudy skies and warmer. Highs in the upper 30s for Wednesday, and even better than that as we get you to the end of the forecast on Thursday. Cloudy skies. That area of low pressure will slide down through Canada. Could bring us a few scattered showers, but look at those high temperatures. In the afternoon on Thursday, we are talking all over central Washington, around 40 degrees, maybe even higher than that. Let's take a look now at that 7-day forecast. 22 the overnight low tonight. 33 tomorrow, partly cloudy and dry. Should be a nice Saturday. Partly cloudy and seasonal on Sunday. And then a chance for some more wintry mix on Monday and Tuesday. 31 Monday, warmer on Tuesday at 35. Wednesday will be a nice day as well. I think that should be about 38 degrees, and then 40 as we get you into Thursday, with once again a 50% chance for rain mixed with snow. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
What's the best way to attract a wide variety of beautiful birds to your backyard? By offering the birds the right foods in expertly designed bird feeders from Wild Birds Unlimited. Whether you've been feeding the birds for a while or are just getting started, let our backyard bird feeding specialists show you how to add a little joy to your life and make nature a part of every day. Shop now for exclusive bird foods, feeders, hardware, and more. Wild Birds Unlimited. Products designed by experts. Trusted local advice.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support. And now it's a sports update. on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Friday to you as the Seahawks prepare for their final game of the season Sunday in Arizona. Speculation about the future of Russell Wilson continues to swirl. Will he remain in Seattle? Will he consider offers from other teams? Sports Illustrated's Corbin Smith hit him squarely with the question Thursday during a press conference.
Hey, Russ, you're on the record several times recently saying that you hope to be with the Seahawks beyond this season, but you're one of the few players in the league that has full control over your destiny with the no-trade clause. Why, if you want to be in Seattle, instead of saying you hope to be here, why not just come out and definitively squelch these rumors? What is there to gain keeping the door open when you have full control over your fate?
Well, I think first of all, Corbin, when it comes to no trade clause in sports, the main reason is so teams can't trade somebody to anywhere. That's the number one reason, right? Because in sports, you can wake up the next morning, you're gone somewhere else. That's the number one reason. I think going back to your main question, though, for me, I think what I'm really super passionate about, obviously, my goal is to win more Super Bowls, and my plan is to win them here. It's that simple. I think that's, and so that's there's nothing really else other than that.
Wilson was recognized this week with the Bart Starr Award for outstanding character, integrity, and leadership on and off the field. He says he's humbled by the award, especially considering the hardest part of this season was not being able to play.
Yeah, just physically, just going through surgery, having to be put down and wake up and, before being put down, knowing that your finger's twisted 3 different ways and everything else, and then to wake up and know that your finger's straight again and, all's going to be well. Spiritually going into that, emotionally going to that, I'm like, okay, this is different. You never had to deal with this before. But just through a lot of prayer, a lot of support and everything else, finding the best doctor in the world, and Dr. Shin, in terms of, fingers and hands and all that. And then just saying, let's go for it. This is a challenge, and I'm gonna overcome every challenge that I face. And I think that was kind of probably the most difficult part, is the initial part. I think that knowing that, okay, this is going to be a battle. I don't know how long this is going to take or whatever, but I'm going to do everything I can to overcome it.
Seattle heads for Arizona tomorrow to face the Cardinals on Sunday. While the offense has been performing better down the stretch, DK Metcalf says it's taken an entire season to work out the kinks in Shane Waldron's offense.
It was a different type of offense than Shotty's offense. A lot of moving parts, a lot of motions, and it gave us a different look, this season. Just like the first year of everything, we're still working out the kinks. I think we've gotten most of those hammered down, and Shane has really learned a lot about Russ, myself, Tyler. He's spreading the ball around to many different players this past game. So I think he's figured out the ingredients, and I think we're just going to continue to build on that.
For Waldron, he says he appreciates the consistent support and approach under the guidance of Pete Carroll.
The great part about being around Coach Carroll is his unrelenting approach, right? He's the same every day. He's built a great culture around this organization. So when we've had some of the downs throughout this season, you've come back in on those Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and led into practices that have been still at an elite level, where guys are excited to be here, excited to get going, excited to, move on from the past game and on to the next week. And it's really that culture that he's built throughout the course of his tenure here that's really reflective on when things aren't going the right way. The place is built the right way for long-term success, where guys can rally around each other and really be on for the next challenge.
Nationally, Antonio Brown made headlines last weekend by walking off the field in the middle of Tampa Bay's game against the Jets. The team let him go, while he claims they tried to make him play through an injury. DK Metcalf says every NFL player feels the pressure to play through mental and physical roadblocks.
Dealing with this job, we have a lot of stress and a lot of pressure, like you said, to be able to suit up on Sundays. So we have to deal with not only stress and anxiety and depression with all of that, but we always have to deal with nagging injuries throughout the whole year. Plus they added an extra game, so that's just one more game where you're taking hits on your body. So I mean, it's a lot to deal with, with everything that you have to account for during the season. So I don't think it's a lot of stress, that we have to deal with. We're built to where, we can play through stuff. You get hit, you get back up and play the next play. So, I mean, I think we're just a product of our environment that, we play through stuff like that. If you can still walk and run, then you can play. So, that's the way I was brought up, and I think that's the, mindset of every football player out there.
Seattle and Arizona kick off at 1:25 Sunday afternoon on Fox. Well, college football fans get 2 more chances to watch games over the next 3 days. Montana State and North Dakota State play for the FCS Championship tomorrow morning in Frisco, Texas. Bison looking for their 9th national championship, while the Bobcats look to win their 4th and first since 1984. Kickoff set for 9 o'clock tomorrow morning on ESPN2. The other big game, of course, the Division I national championship between Alabama and Georgia. That'll be Monday at 5 o'clock on ESPN. We'll take a look at the Les Schwab men's college basketball scoreboard from last night. Despite 20 points each from Linton Alclees and Rylan Bergerson, Eastern Washington fell to Montana 90-78. Washington State lost another close Pac-12 game, this time to Colorado. 83-78 the final. Terrell Roberts had 25 points to lead the Cougs. Washington had 5 players in double figures, led by the 16 points each from Dejon Davis and 15 from Terrell Brown Jr. and a 74-68 win over Utah. Now, coming up tomorrow, Washington State plays at Utah at 3 o'clock on the Pac-12 Network. Eastern will host Idaho at 3:30 on ESPN+. 4th-ranked Gonzaga returns from a COVID layoff to host Pepperdine 6 o'clock tomorrow night on Root Sports. Washington will visit Colorado Sunday at 2 on ESPN2. Well, Haley Van Lith had another great game and helped 3rd-ranked Louisville down Pittsburgh 81-39 yesterday. The sophomore guard from Cashmere had 12 points along with 4 assists and 3 steals to help the Cardinals improve to 13-1. Montana beat Eastern Washington 68-50. Eagles led by the 21 points of Jadia Martin. Melody Kempton pumped in 25 points to lead Gonzaga over Portland in WCC play 76-65 the final. Coming up today, well, Washington's game at Arizona State this morning was postponed. Washington State visits 4th-ranked Arizona on the Pac-12 Network. Gonzaga's game with Santa Clara tomorrow has been postponed, while Eastern Washington will host Idaho at 1 o'clock. Sunday's Cougar and Sun Devils game has been postponed, while Haley's Louisville Cardinals will visit Miami 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. Well, there will be no high school sports this weekend due to the inclement weather, school closures, and impassable roads. That's created an impossible scenario for local districts to navigate. They hope to get things back on track next week. Meanwhile, the Wenatchee Wild find themselves on a pause in BCHL play. The league announced yesterday that Wenatchee and Powell River have gone into the league's COVID protocol. As a result, games this weekend in Coquitlam and Chilliwack have been postponed. The BCHL said in a release yesterday, quote, "The Powell River Kings and Wenatchee Wild have paused all team activities for the next 5 days per BCHL COVID-19 protocol, and the provinces make that the provincial health regulations," end quote. British Columbia has been extremely conservative with its COVID protocols. Remember, a season ago, Wenatchee didn't even have a season because they couldn't go north of the border. We'll see what happens with this one in the next few weeks. That's a look at sports news. Have a safe and sane weekend. Be careful out there. We'll see you on Monday. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And now, how about a feel-good story as we leave you tonight? Schools in Wenatchee were closed both yesterday and today in the wake of record-breaking snow, but the district's buses were still in action, lending a hand to stranded travelers. After the Wenatchee Police Department asked for help, the district drivers yesterday sprang into action and transported 145 stranded Amtrak passengers from the Wenatchee train station to local hotels. The Empire Builder train was finally able to continue on from Wenatchee to Chicago at about midnight last night after being stuck here for 24 hours. Now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up Monday morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thank you very much, Grant. After a crazy, wild roller coaster week, we're going to calm down this weekend, as Grant already mentioned, and then we'll get things going again on a Monday morning edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Schools will be back. Businesses will be fully open again. Government offices, hopefully the passes. Life gets back to normal on Monday, we hope. And if you like normal, well, you usually don't find it here on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, but we'll do our very best to get your next week going with the latest news, sports, weather, and everything else you need to start your day. We will see you Monday. Have a good and safe weekend. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Dan. Have a good weekend. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us and have a great weekend.